Kenyans are allegedly being lured by Russian recruiters.
Families of Kenyan men fighting for Russia.
Young Kenyans who have found themselves on the front lines of the Russia-Ukraine war.
In villages and estates across Kenya, empty beds, chairs, distant thoughts, and unanswered calls tell a chilling story. Young men promised jobs in Russia are ending up in trenches, on front lines, their bodies left in forests, their names erased by silence. Their mothers pray, their families beg for help, but the answers never come. This documentary uncovers how hope was turned into heartbreak, and why more Kenyans are still being lured into a war that is not theirs.
Kenya.
Mutai Felix, 28, Kenya.
Martin Mwenejega, 36 years, Kenya.
Na akaambiwa wakifika huko wataekewa kwa akaunti zao milioni 1, lakini walioambiwa watakuwa wakipewa mshahara ya 215.
Na akaniambia ni wengi, mama usiogope, tuko wengi.
Niliumia sana, niko hospitali but si sana. Hata uchungu iliishia kwa kichaka juu huko hakuna madawa.
Hofu yangu kubwa sana ni kuwa hatuogei na mtoto, nasikia kuna wenye wamepata shida huko.
So they told me either you go to war or you will be killed.
Say, I'm good. I'm ready. I'm supposed to say I'm good.
When we hear of wars and battles, often we picture war veterans and commanders strategizing from command centers on the one hand, and on the other, we have experienced soldiers who can handle and operate complex and heavy weaponry, who understand commands of attacking and retreating.
Recruitment exercises in Russia have reportedly expanded to include African nationals, including Kenyans.
In Russia, it's a complete contrast. Inexperienced African cooks, security guards, drivers, and construction site workers are at the battlefront lines and often with deadly results.
Tumekaa na masumbuko juu hatujui kama mtoto wetu wako uhai, hatujui kama amepata majirahi, hatujui yako kona gani, hatujui anapitia mashida gani.
According to the Kenyan government, at least 200 Kenyans are among those who joined Russian forces, indicating that recruitment networks are active and continue to target Kenyans for enlistment through deception. According to investigators, many Kenyan recruits are lured through fraudulent promises of jobs with higher salaries, education opportunities, and residency rights in Russia. And with their poor backgrounds, they fall for these enticing but deceptive offers, benefits that instantly vanish once they set foot in Russia.
Wanakuja kusakanya watoto wetu. Juu kama mimi nilikuwa tajiri, mtoto wangu hageenda. Juu angekuwa na makazi yake makubwa. Lakini wanatuchukulia sisi, wachukue watoto wetu, wawapeleke kwa vita. Wakirudi hapa warudi bila macho, bila mikono, wengine wakufe.
My family, I don't want to say that they are rich. We are poor, but we get food from our farms.
Evans Kibet is a Kenyan athlete who had dreams of participating in major races in Europe, but the paperwork often got him barred. He is lucky to survive and tell his story. He was lured into Russia through a cultural event where he was meant to share his culture and running experience with the audience. That never happened. He was not alone. He was accompanied by 3 other Kenyans, himself an athlete, a footballer, a taekwondo martial artist, and a boxer.
They told us, do you like to stay here for some more days? We say yes, but our visa is only expiring after 2 days. It was on 16 August. He told us, I can make a deal and get you a working permit.
But what kind of jobs were Evans and his colleagues to get? They were promised to work in factories or any job of their choice that they desired but could not get in Kenya. They were given papers to sign to apply for work permits, but there was a catch. The papers were written in the Russian language, and they had no idea what they were signing for. They had figuratively signed their death sentences. As of broadcasting this documentary, the whereabouts of Evans' colleagues are not known, since he surrendered alone to the Ukrainian military.
We traveled like 2 hours and we diverted from and on highway. We ended in the bush side. So we asked him, where are you taking us? He told us, just relax. We found ourselves in a military camp.
Evans' experience is no different from Reuben Ndongo, a 29-year-old Kenyan, the only son in his family. Reuben was used to working outside Kenya to fend for his family after his father passed on years earlier. He used to do manual jobs, working in construction sites, driving, and other light informal assignments like delivering parcels.
Aliniambia amepata kazi ya kwenda Russia. Nikamuuliza kazi yenyewe ni gani? Akaniambia ni ya security na nitaenda. So kulingana na mimi nikasema, na vile ninajua sijui penye tu ninajuaga ati pengine kazi ya security ni kama ile ya kawaida, watchman wa kawaida, kwa sababu ni ile kusimama tu kwa gate na asubuhi kukusha uende nyumbani na pengine saa zingine huko mchana.
When Reuben was going to Russia, he was promised a security guard job, a job he was familiar with and was in line with the kind of jobs he was doing in Somaliland and in Qatar. But when he was safely in Russia, far away from his family, he gave them a chilling phone call.
Akaenda na akafika. Lakini sasa kazi sio ile ya security. Wameambiwa watapelekwa training wakuwe wanajeshi wa Russia.
Reuben indicated that even with a little training, they had no military experience, and that as Africans, they were to be the buffer zone between the Ukrainian defense side and the Russian fighters. Basically, they were on the front lines.
Siku chache akapiga simu, akapigia dada yake, akamwambia abia mama niombe, tumetoka training na tumepelekwa kwa vita na imesemekana tutaenda kuwekwa kwa Frontline.
Like Evans, Reuben traded his dust coat for a military fatigue, and they got into the forest. As he disappeared in the bushy terrain and trenches, so did his communication with his family dwindle until he went completely mute and he has never been heard from again.
Hofu yangu kubwa sana ni kuwa hatuongei na mtoto na kwa kusikia nasikia kuna wenye wamepata shida huko. Sasa sijui kama mtoto wangu wako kwa shida, sijui ama ako salama. Niko na mzigo mzito sana kwa sababu ya yale tunasikia kwenye magazeti, kwenye redio, ati hiyo nchi iko na shida. Sasa hatujui haongei kwa nini.
Like Reuben, James Kamau is also an only son to her mother. The 32-year-old has been married for 3 years and has a 1.5-year-old daughter. Back in Kenya, James was a hard worker who made a living out of driving, construction work, beadwork, and had a passion for cooking. He also had experience working outside Kenya, with Qatar and Tanzania being his favorite countries.
Tukasemezana juu pesa ya hapa haitoshi, aende Kataro ajaribu kutafuta. Kama hata ni mimi nilikuwa namwekea pesa yake. Tulikuwa tunasaidiana na yeye, juu alikuwa anatuangalia vizuri, si unasikia tulikuwa tunakaa na bibi yake. Tulikuwa tunakaa vizuri, anatusaidia, hatukuwa na shinda yeyote.
While in Qatar, he he helped his family establish a business to sustain themselves. He was planning to travel to Turkey and work there, as a relative was already working there. Therefore, when an opportunity arose for him to go to Russia, he seized it. He was told that he would be cooking meals in military barracks with enticing perks.
Babangu venye alisikia Russia, I think yeye alikuwa na crew ya chenye kinaendelea. Akawa surprised sana, akaniuliza Russia, umesikia venye Russia kuna vita? I'm like, vita? Nikamwambia sijasikia, maybe nifanye uchunguzi. So hapo ndipo nilianza sasa kufanya follow up, kuingia online, ingia YouTube na jaribu kusearch about Russia, ndio nikaanza sasa kuona hizo vita.
Na akaambiwa wakifika huko wataekewa kwa akaunti zao milioni moja.
Milioni moja?
Watawekewa milioni moja, ndio agent achukue 5,100 na hiyo ingine abaki kusaidia penye ametoka. Lakini walioambiwa watakuwa wakipewa mshahara ya 215.
Well, when he got to Russia and with little training of less than 2 weeks, James exchanged his culinary skills and items for heavy weapons, some of which you would otherwise only see in movies. He shared a picture with his wife, as was his habit.
Yeye alikuwa anafanya bidwaki na anashona mishipi na bidwaki na anashona bangles, like everything. Alinitumia picha zake akiwa na uniform na ameshika gun. Kwanza hiyo siku nililia sana, tulilia tukiwa na mamake. Juu alinitumia tukiwa kwa job, nikuonyesha mama, tukalia kwa kazi. It was hard to us.
Like many of his colleagues, James was in touch with his family for about a month, where he kept them updated on each move he made. Then he dropped a bombshell. He informed them that their phones would be taken away and that they were in war and that they needed prayers to survive.
Ilikuwa usiku, alinipigia simu akiwa kwa msitu, amevaa kijeshi na alikuwa na gun. Akaniambia, alinipigia tukaongea like 3 minutes. Akaniambia hawaitiki tupige video call ama audio call, so nimejificha. Nikamuuliza na ukishuka, niambia hapana, lazima ningitaka kukuona na nione mtoi. Unaona kwa msitu katikati, nyumba iko chini. Hii ni msitu, lakini wanaingia ni kama neguruga, kitu kama hiyo, wanaingia ukuti kama cave. Nini uko chini ndo wanakaa, ndo wamejengewa, na kuna yani wanakaa uko chini. Lakini saa hii tunaenda vita.
That was the last time they heard from him. Another phase began, and a cloud of uncertainty hung over this modest homestead.
Sasa picha yenye alikuwa ametuma, tuliona ameingia kwa jeshi. Mimi tangu siku hiyo nimekaa na mastuko ya roho. Hii vidole zote ziliganda hivi. Hata hapa ukinifanya hivi, hata ukinichuna, hizi ziliganda. Nilishikwa na mstuko, na kaaga kichwa inaniuma hivi. Na kaaga hata nikiwa kazini najifungia, nalia. So ni mtu alikuwa anajilea, analea familia yake. Akona mtoto mdogo. Na he has been very supportive to the family, to mom. So yeye kuenda kukosekana, kunyamaza hivyo vyote ni stress kwetu. Juu unakaa ukipata news za huko venye watu wamekufa, unapatwa tu na stress.
Aliacha mtoto wake kama atembei, aongei. Sasa anaongea, anaitana. Like, it's so hard to us.
John Jero was promised a better paying job in Russia, worth thousands of dollars, and like others before him, he fell for the trap. He ended up on the front lines, and the next thing his family heard was that he was lucky to be in hospital with hand injuries. He described the events as disturbing to his family.
After training, they are taken out to the battleground in Ukraine, and sometimes they will walk through a river full of bodies and such stories.
And even before they get into war, they are coerced into fighting. Some are threatened with jail terms and even death. Some have sent audio messages to their families instructing them on how to claim compensation in case they are eliminated. By the time this documentary was published, no Kenyan family had received any compensation for any of the deaths that had been communicated by Kenyans who were still on the battlefield.
So they told me, either you go to war or you will be killed.
These Kenyans find themselves in very dangerous places with limited options. They either die fighting or get killed when they do not join the war. And because of language barrier, some confess to being pushed around as a way of communicating. They do not understand the Russian language, and some of their trainers do not understand English.
Where we are, we don't know. We don't have documents.
Ivan's life was saved after days of cat and mouse games with the drones above their heads. When he could not take it anymore, he ran away and surrendered to the Ukrainian military forces. Many more were left behind, and some are badly wounded or even are no longer alive. Just how are they recruited? From our reliable sources and investigations done in Kenya, there are rogue agencies that are being used by Russian agents in Kenya to recruit potential candidates. They are supposed to identify these candidates, especially those who have a liking for traveling outside the country for work. And they are also supposed to check their physical fitness. After all, this pool of people usually has clean records of their health because of their frequent travels for work. They are then lured using various means, including offering big sums of money.
Wamekusanya watoto wetu, wakawaigiza kwa vita. Hawakuwa na training ya ujeshi hata siku moja. Hawajawahi shika bunduki hivi. Hawajawahi sikia bomu. Afadhali wangekuja waombe wa Kenyan. Waombe wenye wamefanya hiyo kazi wasaidiwe na wao. Lakini mtoto wa kufanya kompyuta na beadwork ni mtoto wa kwenda kupewa bunduki.
Let's try and get some of these agents who are taking people abroad, and I will narrow down specifically to Russia.
Sorry, the mobile subscriber cannot be reached.
Those two agents that we've tried are unreachable, but you're going to follow up on email as well.
But as of the time of publishing this piece, they had not given any form of response to us. These agents then keep shifting their operational bases once they secure a significant number of recruits. They also never respond to the families' enquiries. Do they pocket the agent fees as indicated in this documentary? Do they assist families in claiming compensation? Or who just pockets these monies?
Juu hao watu kama hao maagent walikuwa wameita akina James, walikuwa najua chenye inaendelea na wakawaprosesia haraka. Na wakati tuliwatafuta kwa ofisi, tulikuta wamefunga ofisi sawa. Tukiwapigia simu hatuwashiki.
Nikauliza Motuli, mbona tunapelekwa kwa hoteli na tunafaa kupelekwa kwa ofisi? Gilbert akatuambia hawana ofisi na wanafuatwa but wanatengeneza ofisi. Nikaanza kuwa na mashuku zangu hapo.
Some Kenyans are trafficked out of Kenya through some neighboring countries as their exit routes. Keep this detail in mind. It will be important later. Some agents have been arrested at the 11th hour as they processed more Kenyans to leave the country for Russia.
Sasa hapa ninashindwa nifanye nini, niseme nini, lakini tuko tu kwa sababu tunaonekana lakini tumeisha nguvu.
Does your family know where you are now?
They don't know.
Did they know you had signed a contract?
They don't know.
Hii roho yangu ipumzike. Juu haitapumzika milele. Haitapumzika unless nione mtoto wangu, nijue kama ni kukufa, nijue kama naweza pata mwili wake. Kabla ya nyama zake hivyo nafikiria amepigwa risasi, amelala pahali hivi, ameumia, anakula.
The parents have tried all means available to them in search of answers, but they keep hitting dead ends. When Reuben's mother visited the Russian embassy in Kenya, she was thrown out and they denied ever processing her only son's visa. Remember, our sources told us some are processed in a neighboring country?
So alikuwa anarudia, sio sisi tulipea huyu kijana wako visa, labda alichukua country nyingine.
Upon reporting to the authorities, Janet was informed that there are several cases like hers and it will take time to process them. This only indicates the magnitude of the problem and the awareness on the part of the authorities.
Mumefuatilia na serikali ya Kenya?
Yeah. Tulienda kwa Foreign Affairs. On Monday nilirudi. Juu walikuwa wametupea 14 working days. Kama watakuwa wametupea any information turudi. So nimetake time even after those 14 days. Nikajaribu kupiga simu, hawakushika. Nikajaribu kutuma email, hawakushika, hawakureply.
Uliporudi walikuambia nini?
Wakatuambia hakuna any report wamepata. So tukauliza tufanye aje, wakatuambia tugoje any report ikipatikana watatupigia simu.
For me, I need my husband. I'm still young. I need my husband around me. Namtaka akuja tukae hapa na mtoto wetu. So mimi naomba serikali turejeshe, ifanye juu chini, lete watu iwalete. I really miss him. He's still my husband and I love him a lot. Nampenda sana.
These families bear heavy emotional burdens, as some are not in contact with their relatives who are in war zones. Others know very well that their relatives are badly wounded in hospitals, yet others are not sure whether their kin were as lucky as Evans to have surrendered and been captured as prisoners of war, or are some of those that Evans, John and others witnessed having been left as bodies in the battlegrounds.
Kuna mtu analalamika huko, analalamikia ni kazi tunaendelea vizuri. Ndio bro. Yaani anatupea unga kwa familia. Hakuna kazi poa kama hii.
Akirudi utaruhusu aende nchi nyingine?
Afadhali niuze kila kitu, asimame na msimamo wake hapa.
Yeah, for me I thank God because I'm alive. I'm safe here because no bombs, no threats. I want to go home.
The only thing I know and I believe atarudi. No matter what, mimi najua tu atarudi.
Ujumbe wako ama ombi lako litakuwa kwa nani na ni gani?
Ombi langu litakuwa kwa serikali. Kwa sababu yes, imetendeka. Na kama kuna mtu alifanya kazi mbaya ya kusababisha watoto wafike Russia na visa ya miezi 3, na miezi 3 imeisha bado wakiwa huko, naomba tu wawafikie. Hatuna shida kasi ilifanywa wapi, na shida ni kuwa wako huko na muda wao wakuwa huko umeisha.
The Kenyan government issued a warning to Kenyans not to fall prey to these tricks while calling the situation extremely worrying. Kenya's Foreign and Diaspora Affairs Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi urged citizens to exercise caution toward overseas job offers that appear unrealistically attractive.
To mitigate this, the government further continues to encourage all Kenyans seeking employment opportunities abroad to do so through agencies that have been vetted. The National Employment Agency is tasked with regulating and accrediting recruitment agencies, as well as ensuring compliance with ethical recruitment standards, conducting pre-departure training, and safeguarding the welfare of workers and accountability in cases of abuse and repatriation.
As of now, Evans is alive and John is wounded but alive. However, the whereabouts of Reuben, Kuloba, and Margaret's brother, James Kamau, and many other Kenyans remain unknown. Who will be accountable for their absence and silence?
I want to go home because I remember my daughter is waiting for me. She is only 16.
We reached out to the Russian embassy in Kenya and the Kenyan embassy in Russia for their comments, seeking to establish the status update of the welfare of Kenyans who have been enrolled into the Russian army to fight. But as of the time of publishing this piece, they had not given any form of response to us. We also reached out to the Ukrainian embassy in Kenya.
Main message is quite clear and totally understandable that anything that is concerned with Russia is a lie. Main thing is that they need and they desperately need the fighters to join their army. Therefore, as soon as you cross the border of Russian Federation, you'll be lured, you'll be forced, and you'll be made to join Russian army. And not much ways of getting out from there.
What is your message to the families of Kenyans who are now lost in that and they have joined the war?
To the families, the message is that we understand the pain, do everything possible to take them away from that war. The war doesn't choose nationalities. The war is the war, so, and as I mentioned, it is really horrible war and very serious war.
Na popote mtoto wako ana process kwenda kwa wakati huu, fanya uchunguzi. Hao wazazi watoto wao hawajapanda ndege kwenda Russia, wa withdraw kabisa.
Don't travel to Russia. You can be forced to do something you don't want to do.
Sasa ni machozi tuko nayo.
The emptiness left by the relatives is palpable for the families we followed. The wait continues. Some hold on to hope, others battle the quiet terror of knowing their sons may never return. Their stories are not isolated. They are part of a growing trail of young Kenyans drawn, deceived, or driven into war thousands of miles away. A war that has stolen lives, silenced voices, and shattered homes.
The better. Unajua watu wanatafutwa, mtu anasema afadhali nimuone akiwa amekufa nimzike. Ile huzuni na kuwaga nayo, kama ni kukufa, nitaona mwili wake. Afadhali nione mwili wake nimzike, ili roho ipumzike.
These are not just statistics. They are sons, brothers, fathers, Kenyan lives caught in a war that is not theirs. For the families left behind, the fight is far from over. And for the nation, the question is no longer how they left, but how many more will follow.
Now, this homestead represents many where their relatives left a place like here. They were tricked to Russia. They were promised heavy packs while doing ordinary jobs, only for them to find themselves propped at the battleground in the front lines with deadly results.
For Tuko, my name is Kingori Wangeshi.